We may begin by reciting Surah Al-Fatiha in honor of the Shuhada from the lovers of Ahlul Bayt who are martyred over the bombings that happened in the last 12 days. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة يا غريب الغرباء يا مظلوم كربلاء السلام على من جعل الله الشفاء في تربته السلام على من الإجابة تحت كبته السلام على ساكن كربلاء فيا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي يا سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد حسين مني وأنا من الحسين أحب الله من أحب حسينا صدق رسول الله وآمنا به زينوا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد One of the most powerful tools through which the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada can be preserved Rather, one of the most powerful tools through which the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada can be spread is through the medium of majalis. Majalis, as we say it, or ma'tam, the way they say it in the Arabic world. For these commemorations and these gatherings where we meet together in sacred places are of utmost importance, and there has been a great deal of emphasis laid upon these gatherings and these commemorations by the leaders or the imams of our madhab. This concept of majlis is a concept that we need to thoroughly understand, and we need to digest and understand the deep consequences and the symbol which signifies the sanctity of these majalis. There is no doubt that when a majlis is held in honor of Sayyid al-Shuhada and the gruesome atrocities in which the Prophet or the family's Prophet, under the gruesome atrocities that were carried out upon them, the way in which they were humiliated and their blood was shed, when a person listens to these masa'ib and contemplates over the killings and the ways in which these killings happened, as we mentioned in one of the majalis, he begins to shed tears and he begins to emotionally form an alliance with the Imam. He forms an alliance with the Haqq. And this emotional state, this psychological state, then provides the perfect platform for him to implement Islam in every aspect of his life. Number one. Number two, the benefit of these majalis is that every time a person comes and listens to the commemoration of the martyrdom of Sayyid al-Shuhada in particular and the Imams in general, he begins to understand and take seriously the fact that this religion has reached us at a very expensive price. Over 1400 years, this Islam, the liberty that we have to pray and to fast and to perform Hajj, these ideals and concepts such as freedom, are principles that have reached us with blood. The grandson of the Holy Prophet spilled blood from his neck in order to ensure that these values reached us. For how can we trample upon the same principles which the Imam shed his blood for? Number one. Number two. Number three. The message of Sayyid al-Shuhada and the eternity of the revolution of Karbala from one perspective is ensured through the commemoration of these majalis. The revolution of Sayyid al-Shuhada and the battle that happened in 61 AH. This battle has been made to transcend the constraints of time and space through these majalis. Generation after generation, you have had lovers of Ahlul Bayt who have ensured that the principles and the values that underline the revolution of Sayyid al-Shuhada are understood by the masses such that they may be inspired to act upon these principles. Had these majalis not been in place, then the revolution of Sayyid al-Shuhada from one perspective would have been recorded as a historical event that happened at a particular place, at a particular time, and then would be treated like any other historical revolution, buried within the pages of history. But because the mu'mineen and the lovers of Ahlul Bayt in every generation stand up to commemorate these values, they ensure the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada is echoed across the passage of time. It is when fathers and mothers raise pious children and narrate to them what happened 1400 years ago. This generation grows up and then passes on the message to the following generation, and the following generation to the third generation, and the third generation to the fourth generation. Through this chain of transmission, through this love, the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada is echoed out. It is through these majalis that we are able to aid and support the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Because it is in these majalis that the values are analyzed through which Imam Hussein was prompted to form this revolution. The goals and the expectations of Islam are analyzed and discussed in these majalis. For the goal for which Sayyid al-Shuhada shed his blood. This message is passed out across the generations, across the cities and towns, all over the world by the barakah of these majalis. And if we understand the importance of majalis, then we also understand the importance of ensuring that these majalis continue not only in our lifetime, but we pass it down as a heritage to those who are after us. The majalis Husseini, majalis of Sayyid al-Shuhada, are not to be restricted in any given place per se, like a Imam Barga or a Husseiniya or a mosque. Rather, if we understand that through the majalis we are directly supporting the cause of Sayyid al-Shuhada in ensuring that the messages for which he was martyred are revived and understood by the masses, then from here we understand the importance of holding a majlis Husseini within our own houses. For when a person holds a majlis Husseini in his house, in essence, what he has done is, he has made a gesture to Rasulullah. He has made a gesture to Sayyid al-Zahra that I am using my home and my sanctity as a medium to ensure that the message of your grandson remains eternal. And what an honor for a person who organizes this majlis or these majalises in their house. And that on the day of judgment, when the people are running around the mahshar not knowing what their fate is, and the Quran tells us, you see the people as if they are drunk but that they are not drunk. A state of intoxication, a metaphorical expression used to denote the state of fear and chaos that man will face on that day of judgment. In such a situation, a person, what a great honor it is that he can come to Sayyid al-Zahra and tell her, I used my house to ensure the message of Karbala remained eternal. There is no greater honor than this. For hence the importance for the lovers of Ahlul Bayt to establish majalis, especially during this period, between the 1st of Muharram to the 9th of Rabiul Awwal, as many majalis in their houses, wherever it is. And if a person is not in a position to organize a majlis, then to attend these majalis. For the people who hold these majalis in their house, and I sit on the member of Sayyid al-Shuhada, and I take an oath and I tell you that the people who take pains to organize majalis in their house, you will see the barakah of this majalis in their lives before they see the barakah of these majalis in the akhirah. You will see the rewards in the children of the people who hold majalis Hussein in their houses before the akhirah. Barakah of Sayyid al-Shuhada encompasses them in this world before the akhirah, encompasses their children and their coming lineages. You look at the families of the ulama and the maraja, those who have been able to hold great maraja, taqlid and ulama in their lineages over the last 150 to 200 years, you will see that they will tell you this barakah has been because we used to teach our children how to weep over Sayyid al-Shuhada, and we used to hold these majalises in our house. For congratulations to those mu'mineen who stand up with this great amal of establishing Majalis Husayni in their house. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The world in its entirety, lovers of Ahlul Bayt, from the east of the world to the west of the world over these last 12 days, have vibrantly and very emotionally commemorated the martyrdom of Sayyid al-Shuhada over these last 12 days, and will continue to do so. You look at the Julus procession that happened in Copenhagen, in freezing temperatures, heavy downpour, rainfall. You look at the majalis that happened in Australia, majalis that happened in the United States, in Africa, here in Europe, and you will be surprised how the message of Sayyid al-Shuhada is still spread despite the efforts of the tyrants throughout the passage of time to obliterate the remembrance of Sayyid al-Shuhada. And when a person sees millions of Shias across the globe wearing black, chanting Ya Hussein, this in itself, if a person contemplates, is one of the greatest signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is one of the signs of the truthfulness of the madhab of Ahlul Bayt. When a person reads through history and sees just the grave of Sayyid al-Shuhada, how is there a haram of this grandeur? How is there a haram standing in Karbala after 1400 years of oppression? When you read through the history of Bani Umayyah and Bani Abbas and the oppressors who came after that, and the efforts they took to destroy the dhikr of Sayyid al-Shuhada, after all this, how does a flag wave so high in the skies over the Kubba of Sayyid al-Shuhada? The mind cannot contemplate. This haram of Sayyid al-Shuhada on the 13th of Muharram, when Imam Sajjad, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, in our traditions it is narrated when he came back to Karbala through a miracle from the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he buried Sayyid al-Shuhada. When he put the sand over the grave in which Sayyid al-Shuhada was buried, he wrote with his finger on the grave, Hada Qabru Sayyid al-Shuhada. This was the only mark or nishani, the way we say, of the grave of Imam Hussein. History has narrated over 25 times within the period of Bani Abbas that the grave of Sayyid al-Shuhada was destroyed. It obliterated every trace of the qabr of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Companions narrate that when we would come to Karbala, we would sleep the night a few kilometers away from Taf, from where Imam Hussein was buried. And we would come in the middle of the night, close towards Fajr, when the soldiers or the enemies are asleep. And we would come towards the grave of Sayyid al-Shuhada, and we don't know where he is buried. The companions narrate in the books of history that we would crawl on our knees and we would smell the ground until we would get to a place where there is a scent of musk that rises from the earth to the heavens. And from here we would know the qabr of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Look at all these atrocities that Sayyid al-Shuhada and his remembrance withstood. For who are these oppressors and these tyrants who stand up now to stop the commemoration of Sayyid al-Shuhada? There were those more powerful than these people who are not able to withstand the tide and the force of Sayyid al-Shuhada, then who are these people? And it is with great shame that you see a country like Egypt that barred and prohibited the commemoration of Ashura this year. We have in the news that the Egyptian government dispatched police forces in Cairo and they surrounded the Masjid al-Hussein on the day of Ashura according to their calendar, or the eve of Ashura according to others. Muharram, Ashura here was on Sunday, and in Iraq on Sunday, Saturday afternoon. In Egypt, Masjid al-Hussein was closed and the police forces dispatched, arresting if not beating the mourners of the lovers of Ahlul Bayt. And what is more strange than this is that Azhar University, despite its honor, despite its high status within the Muslim world, issued a statement banning the commemoration of Ashura, saying that these heretical or heresy practices damage the reputation or the identity of Egypt as a Sunni nation. Ajib. Since when did the commemoration of the martyrdom of Sayyid al-Shuhada become a Sunni Shia event? What a dirty game for the board of management or the board of scholars in Azhar University to play. Issuing statements like this in national newspapers like the Egypt Independent, that commemoration of Sayyid al-Shuhada is against the Sunni identity of Egypt. Since when did crying over the grandson of Rasulullah become a Sunni Shia issue? Why do they play these games and make it seem as if commemoration of Ashura is a sectarian issue, when they are fully aware that commemoration of Ashura is a commemoration that the entire Muslim Ummah is obligated to stand upon? Isn't Imam Hussein the grandson of the Prophet of Islam? The same Prophet whom they recite their Shahada in their adhan? Isn't it the same Prophet Muhammad that they believe in, whose grandson was killed? In their own books, is it not mentioned in Sahih Bukhari that Rasulullah said, Husaynu minni wa ana min al-Husayn. Ahabballahu man ahabba Husayna. Hussein is from me and I am from Hussein. Allah loves the person who loves Hussein. Notice the precision of the words of Rasulullah. He doesn't say a person who loves Hussein loves Allah. He says Allah loves the person who loves Hussein. When a cartoon is drawn depicting Rasulullah, they turn the world upside down. But here, when the flesh and the blood of Rasulullah is massacred and martyred, they fold their arms and sit back and say, this is sectarianism. Which game do they play? But the mission statement of Sayyid al-Shuhada is enough in itself to show that the values that he stood up for were for the values of Islam in its entirety. Did Sayyid al-Shuhada not say when he left Medina, Inni lam akhruj sharran wala dhaliman wala mufsidan wala batran wa inni kharajtu litalab al-islah fi ummati jaddi Rasulullah. Sayyid al-Shuhada, when he was leaving Medina, said, I do not come out of oppression or to cause fasad or to cause fitna or to cause dhulm. Rather, my sole purpose in coming out is to reform the ummah of my grandfather Rasulullah. Sayyid al-Shuhada stood up to ensure that corruption does not overtake the pure fiber of Islam. Since when was commemoration of Sayyid al-Shuhada a sectarian issue? And these people in Azhar who issue statements like these and cause fitna within the minds of the innocent people the average Muslims who are not well read. People like these need to refer back to their teachers and greater ulamas of Azhar and look at their stances when it came to Sayyid al-Shuhada. It was one of the founding scholars and greatest scholars in Azhar who used to take pride in weeping over Sayyid al-Shuhada and issuing statements in condemnation of Yazid for the atrocities that he carried on the family of Rasulullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Lovers of Ahlul Bayt persecuted in Bahrain. Persecuted in Bahrain when they came out in their julus. Their julus was violently broken down by military forces. You go into Qatif, their Majalis al-Husayni were barred and stopped. Why this hatredness towards weeping for the grandson of Rasulullah? You go into the Emirates, you go into Dubai, look at the centers of our Shias over there, where they are given timelines which they should not surpass when it comes to weeping Sayyid al-Shuhada. A program for half an hour, program for 45 minutes. After a certain time, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, their centers must be closed. Why this oppression on the Shias? If not the Shias on the Muslims commemorating the martyrdom of the grandson of Rasulullah. And sometimes it makes you think. When you look at the Shias or the lovers of Ahlul Bayt in that part of the world and the constraints that they face when it comes to commemorating Ashura, how many trials and how many tribulations, how many difficulties do they go through? And it makes you think sometimes over here, do we take this ni'mah for granted? No, over here, alhamdulillah, the government has not given us any restrictions. No one is in danger of their lives when they come for a Majlis Husayni. We have all the liberty to weep and commemorate for Imam Hussein. But if a Majlis goes 15, 20, 25 minutes over, Ya Subhanallah, they want to cause all type of havocs. And as if the sun has fallen onto the earth. And the issue in Pakistan is even worse. Brothers and sisters, it is our responsibility and our duty to support the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, especially in Pakistan. The number of bomb blasts and killings that went on over these last 12 days have been of a great magnitude. And some of the statements that were issued in the press are even more surprising. And I will read out these statements to you and these events such that they are portrayed in their full accuracy. Over the last 12 days in Pakistan itself, there were bombings reported in Karachi. There were bombings reported in Khairapur on the day of Ashura, where a grenade was thrown in the Julus procession on the day of Ashura. 12 people killed and hundreds injured. Over these last 12 days, multiple bombings within Hussainiyas and centers in Quetta. A bombing and multiple bombings and detonation of grenades in an area called Dirra Ismail Khan in Pakistan. Rawalpindi. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is just a small number of what happened across Pakistan in its entirety. In Rawalpindi, a bombing happened just outside their central Hussainiya. In fact, there are video clips that show that on the night of Ashura, or around the 8th of Muharram, you have these Nawasib and these Wahhabis who went up to the central Shia mosque, put up a ladder and began with hammers and sledges to break the tiling and the ceramics of the mosque from the outside. And some of these ceramics had the engravement of the word Allah and Muhammad. They tore down the black flag is another thing. But to break with the hammer sledges that have the name of Allah, that have the name of Rasulullah. Which Muslims are these? And interesting more than this, subhanallah, you have the University of Azhar that claims to be the leading scholar or the leading board for Sunni Muslims throughout the world. Here we have, and I watched the video report myself, where in Rawalpindi, when the bombings happened and hundreds of martyrs were killed, the Salat al-Mayyit that took place the following day inside of Rawalpindi, there were over 40,000 Muslims from amongst the Shia and Sunni who participated in the Salat al-Mayyit. And you see that brothers from the Ahl Sunnah are praying with their hands folded side by side with the Shias to show that these killings, these senseless, barbaric atrocities that are committed against the Shia, that are committed against the commemoration of Sayyid al-Shuhada, is not a Sunni Shia event. It's not a Sunni Shia issue. It's not a sectarian issue. The problem are these Nawasib and these Wahhabis who control the medium over Islam, who through their oil money fuel and vent hatred across the different madhabs in Islam. The Nawasib who have overtaken the sect of the Ahl Sunnah. You find reports within Arab journals that state in 2009 alone, $100 million was sent from Saudi into Pakistan to fund for these terrorist activities. And the madaris where hatredness against the Shia are preached. And the people who carry out these suicide bombings, but they don't remain anonymous. They have declared their identity in their news. They have declared their identity on satellite TV, and they have made their mission very clear. These attacks that were carried out in Rawalpindi, in Khairapur, and in Dera Ismail Khan, Pakistani media and the general media have reported that these attacks, the responsibilities were claimed by the Pakistani Taliban militants, saying that the victims, yani the people who were killed in the blasts, are kuffar, and that the Pakistani Taliban militant is engaged in an official state of war of belief, stating that the Pakistani Talibani army is stating that they will continue in their killings of the millions of Shias until each and every one of them are wiped out of the country. Word for word, this is a report that was made to the press. Furthermore, it is also reported that in Rawalpindi over these 12 days, especially during the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th of Muharram, text messages were sent out over local Pakistani media and mobile carriers, text messages that read out, kill the Shias, kill the Shias. In this threatening and barbaric environment, our Shia brothers still went ahead to ensure that the dhikr of Sayyid al-Shuhada remains alive. What is the world doing in terms of condemnation to this oppression of a minority sect, this genocide that is being carried out against the Shias? Where is Amnesty International? And truthfully, Amnesty voiced its concerns, but within a very limited scope. Where is the United Nations when it comes to the Human Rights Commission? Why aren't there any statements issued by these organizations condemning these killings? Why isn't the Pakistani government taking action against these parties when they are issuing statements to the press such as these? Their statement is clear. We want to wipe out the Shias in their millions. Finished. They want Pakistan free of Shias. When they fail to understand that Muhammad Jinnah, the one who established Pakistan himself, was a Shia. Ajib. What are Muslim organizations in Europe doing to condemn these attacks? These organizations, even particularly within the United Kingdom, who call us day in, day out, and tell us we want to put forward the road and we want to plan a roadmap towards unity. Before you look into the roadmap of unity, or as one of the founding steps towards unity, be brave, step up and condemn these killings in Pakistan. Condemn these nawasibs, these people who claim to be Khadimul Haramain. Condemn them for spending $100 million in teaching hate ideologies to little children. Do you know one of the children, one of the people who carried out the killings or these bombings in Quetta was a 12-year-old child? A 12-year-old child. Can you imagine the amount of brainwashing this child has gone through, such that a 12-year-old child who does not know anything about the ahkam of wajibat, of salat, for example, a child who is supposed to be studying in school, a child who is supposed to be playing with toy cars, with his fellow classmates, a child who is supposed to be thinking about his future. How is it that a child like this is indoctrinated to the extent that he is willing to wear a vest filled with explosives and detonate himself? To which extent? Why isn't these $100 million used in Gaza? Why is it not used to raise the standard of living for the Muslims over the world, within their own countries? For those mothers and those fathers who have lost their children, for those brothers who have lost their sisters, for their sisters who have lost their brothers, anyone who has lost a relative, a family member or a friend, because they went out to commemorate the martyrdom of Sayyid al-Shuhada, I have one story to comfort them. And by the way, these are not all the bombings that have happened. There are more if you follow the news, including today. In the outskirts of Karbala, next to Bab al-Twairish, there was a blast that happened today. 12 people killed there. In Hilla, between Najaf and Karbala, another blast that happened within the markets. Why? A couple of years ago, during the time of Arba'een, there was a group of people, lovers of Ahlul Bayt, who were walking out from Nasiriyah, walking towards Karbala for the ziyarah. Ziyarah Arba'een, to walk on foot. As they left Nasiriyah, before they got to Najaf, because Najaf, Karbala, the security and mashallah, the cooperation of the forces and the people there is virtually unpenetratable. In the outskirts, in Nasiriyah, as the people were moving and walking towards Najaf, such that they performed the ziyarah of Imam Ali and then from there go towards Sayyid al-Shuhada. And we met one of the people who survived this blast last year in Najaf. He says, as we were walking, we saw one of these nawasib run towards us with a vest filled with explosives. And there was a policeman who was patrolling. Subhanallah, this policeman was from the Ahl Sunnah, to show us that when it comes to the commemoration of Sayyid al-Shuhada, there is no Sunni Shia. There is just one banner, and that is the banner of Islam and Muslims. He tells us that the police saw this suicide bomber running towards us. So this Sunni policeman ran towards this bomber and threw himself to protect the rest of the Zawar. In the event, this person detonated himself. This policeman, who we consider to be one of the shuhada in the way of Sayyid al-Shuhada, had his head blown off from his body due to the impact. And the number of Zawar, local Zawars of Nasiriyya, died in that attack. So this person, he narrates the incident. He says that when the blast happened, he survived, but one of his legs were amputated. He says, when the blast happened, because of the severity of the pain, I lost consciousness. And he says, it might have been a dream, but as I was unconscious, I saw Sayyid al-Shuhada and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas descend down from the heaven. And they are in the dress of war, as if they were wearing the same clothes of Karbala, of Ashura, filled with bloodstains. And that Sayyid al-Shuhada came down. He started talking to Abu al-Fadl. He says, Sayyid al-Shuhada came and stood right beside me. And around me there were a number of people who were lying down. And it was as if these were the people who were walking next to me. And I see Sayyid al-Shuhada telling Abu al-Fadl, take this one to Jannah, take that one to Jannah, take this one to Jannah, take that one to Jannah. Bila hisab, without any hisab, without any kitab, take them to Jannah. This person says, when I opened my eyes, when I gained consciousness, because they came and they threw water on my face, trying to figure out whether I'm dead or alive. When they threw water on my face, he says, I gained consciousness and I looked around me. The same people who I saw in my dream, where Sayyid al-Shuhada is ordering Abu al-Fadl to take them into Jannah, were the same people who had died in this blast. What is more amazing is that when we looked closely into the pictures of that blast, every person who had fallen or died in that blast had died with a smile on their face. This person whose leg was amputated had an operation done on him and continued to walk towards Sayyid al-Shuhada on one leg with crutches. When he reached the haram of Abu al-Fadl, you have 13-14 million people performing the ziyarah of Sayyid al-Shuhada. A lot of these people do not even have the opportunity to enter into the haram. They walk 300-400 kilometers. They are able just to see the Qubba of Imam Hussein, the Qubba of Sayyid al-Shuhada. They lift their hands, they say, Ya Abu al-Fadl, Ya Sayyid al-Shuhada, register my name in your list of Zawar. They say when he came to the haram of Abu al-Fadl, he said to him, Abu al-Fadl, you lost your arms in Karbala, I lost my leg to perform your ziyarah. You perform my shafa'ah. Aqidah. What these nawasib and what these Wahhabis fail to understand is that despite their atrocities and despite their crimes, the number of people who will commemorate the legacy of Sayyid al-Shuhada will continue to increase year by year. Because this is a legacy that is protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a promise of Rasulullah to Sayyid al-Zahra. But Sayyid al-Shuhada rules and conquers the hearts of the people. And so long as their blood flows in their veins, they will stand up to commemorate this legacy. The 13th of Muharram, being yesterday, was a day that marked a new day of grief for Ahlul Bayt. For it is narrated that on the 13th of Muharram, through the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Imam Zainul Abidin was able to come back to Karbala and to bury the corpses of his father and his uncle. These pure bodies of Sayyid al-Shuhada, the pure body of Sayyid al-Shuhada and the martyrs of Karbala that had remained unburied for 3 days under the desert heat, mixed in blood and sand. Allah, the traditions tell us that at this time the women of Bani Asad came and they were wondering on how they should bury these bodies, and they were wondering which is the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada and how can they differentiate between the bodies when all the bodies are without a head, covered in wounds and in the sands of Karbala. It is narrated at this time that as Bani Asad was wondering how they would bury these bodies, they saw a rider from the distance come towards these dead bodies, his face being veiled. Allah, the traditions tell us that the women and the people of Bani Asad asked him, "Who are you? We ask you by the sake of Allah to stop." This person removed his veil and he said, "I am Ali ibn al-Hussein. I am the one whose father was killed and who has been left martyred over here." The traditions tell us that Imam Zainul Abidin buried all the martyrs in one grave, and then he walked towards Sayyid al-Shuhada and he began to weep, and he mentioned, or he uttered one sentence towards the body of Abu al-Fadl before he buried him. He said, "Ammi ya Abbas, my uncle Abbas, if only you were there to see how the women have been taken prisoner. Oh, Uncle Abbas, if only you were there to see your sister Zainab, the one whom the people have not even seen her shadows, if only you were seeing how she has been whipped by Shema." Allah, the traditions tell us that when Imam Zainul Abidin came to bury Sayyid al-Shuhada, the spot in which he is buried, Imam Zainul Abidin just moved a few layers of sand and he found a grave that has already been dug. Allah, the traditions tell us that this was a grave that Rasulullah himself had dug on the day of Ashura when Salama saw him in his dream. His hair covered in sand, his beard covered in sand. Salama asked him, "Ya Rasulullah, how is it that we see you in this state? Tears in your eyes and your hair covered in sand." So Rasulullah said to Salama, "This is me, the Prophet, weeping for my son Hussein. Until now my back is broken as I dig the grave for my son Hussein." Allah, the traditions tell us that Imam Zainul Abidin struggled to put the body of Imam Hussein into the grave. Do you know why? Because every time he would lift the right side of the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada, the left side would fall down. Then he would turn around and lift the body by the left, but the right side would fall down. Do you know why? Because the enemies had trampled the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada with horses. Allah, the traditions tell us Imam Zainul Abidin with great difficulty carried the body and lowered it into the grave, and then he began to weep. The people of Bani Asad say when we came a little bit closer to see what Imam Zainul Abidin was doing, they say that Imam Zainul Abidin put his tongue, or he put his lips next to the neck of Sayyid al-Shuhada. He put his lips on the neck of Sayyid al-Shuhada, kissing it, saying it, "Oh my father, if only you were there to see how I have been humiliated." Allah, there were 2 times where Imam Zainul Abidin buried someone or buried a part of the body, but he never stood up with his back straight. Allah, the traditions tell us that his back was bent when he took the body of Ali ibn al-Asghar. He took the body of Ali ibn al-Asghar and he placed it on the chest of Sayyid al-Shuhada. He began to cry. He said, "My brother Abdullah, they didn't even leave you on your tiny neck." And there was a second time Imam Zainul Abidin's back was broken and he was not able to stand straight. This is when he took the finger of Imam Hussein that was cut by Bajda and he put it by the grave and he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." لعنة الله على قوم الظالمين.
يا حسين 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 يا حسين